We are back at it again with some more celebrity scandals. I'm still surprised at how many of these have gone unheard of, at least for me anyway. You guys always seem to know about some of these scandals because you are all smarty pants, but still, I'm bringing you another set of stories today as we count down the top 10 celebrity scandals you never knew about, part 4. At number 10, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is known to be kind of a diva. It's probably all chalked up to the fact that she became such a big Hollywood star at such a young age, but either way, she's got some diva attitude. It's because of this diva attitude that I'm not surprised that she's sued people for ridiculous claims, because why wouldn't she? In 2010, Lindsay issued a lawsuit against E-Trade for $100 million over their company's Super Bowl ad because she claimed that they, quote, used her name and characterization without her permission. In the ad, it basically follows a conversation between two babies, with one of them asking if they're bailing on their plans to hang out with, quote, that milkaholic Lindsay. Lindsay claimed that this ad was trying to be a parody on her life as well as her documented struggles with alcoholism. She also claimed that this ad was about her because they used her name and she is, quote, widely recognized by just her first name, like Cher or Madonna. The lawsuit was eventually settled in court, but very few people actually know that this legal matter was ever a real thing. At number 9, Jamie Oliver. Celebrity chefs are celebrities too, and just like any other big name person, they're subject to scandal. Their scrutiny can be for a number of things because with these celebrities, the possibilities are endless. With celebrity chef Jamie Oliver, he faced some scrutiny and widespread hate from a whole nation because they were offended by his food, and it was pretty wild. Not everyone can unite a nation, but when Jamie Oliver did it in 2014, it was fueled by food and anger. In October 2014, Jamie took a recipe for jollof rice, a West African dish that is described as the heart and soul of the nation, and reinvented it. Apparently, this reinvention didn't look anything like the original dish, and people were really mad about it. This recipe post then received thousands of angry comments from African food bloggers saying that not only is this recipe a disgrace to the culture, but it also skewed the way African culture and cuisine is seen and represented in the rest of the world. People saw this as another instance of, quote, Europe taking African culture and doing what they want with it. This actually wasn't the first or last time Jamie has experienced recipe outrage like this, as 2 years after this scandal, Jamie angered people from Spain for his take on paella, saying that he even received death threats for that scandal. I think the takeaway from this scandal is to stick to the source material. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my gaming channel, Viper Girl, if you're looking for some more fun content to enjoy. I've got a fun series going on over there, so go check them out and subscribe while you're at it. At number 8, Simon Cowell. Speaking of chefs, this next scandal involving Simon Cowell also involves another chef, but at least this one isn't offending entire nations with their cooking. In 2009, a personal chef issued a lawsuit against Simon Cowell and his ex-girlfriend Terry Seymour because she claimed that they stole her shoes. The chef said that the couple failed to return her shoes after they asked her to remove them when she entered their home for an interview. These were special shoes because they had special $500 orthopedic insoles, and she really wanted them back. The chef in her $661 lawsuit claimed that she had made several attempts to retrieve her shoes, each time being unsuccessful. She even drove all the way back to Simon and Terry's house, where Terry's assistant helped to look for them. The lawsuit was ultimately settled and ended with Simon paying court fees, the gas money owed to the chef for driving to their house, and finally returning the shoes. Why he stole them, I have no idea, but at least the chef got them back in the end. At number 7, 50 Cent. Here's another crazy lawsuit scandal that you might not have heard of. Rapper 50 Cent issued a lawsuit against Taco Bell back in 2008. He sued the fast food chain for $4 million because he claimed that the restaurant used his name for advertising purposes without his consent. Taco Bell had thought of a new ad campaign, issuing a press release to ask 50 Cent to change his name to 79 cent, 89 cent, or 99 cent for a day to promote their low price menu, and then wrap his order at a Taco Bell. The company said that if he did that, then they'd donate $10,000 to a charity of his choice. Well, instead of getting a publicity campaign, they got a lawsuit instead after the rapper found out about Taco Bell's campaign because people were calling him a sellout for taking this apparent endorsement. He took the company to court and won, receiving an undisclosed settlement. This wasn't the first time 50 Cent had sued a company over similar claims. A year prior to this scandal, 50 Cent sued an internet ad company for using his likeness without his permission, so people say that Taco Bell should have known better. Someone from the ad department definitely got fired after that one. At number 6, JayZ. JayZ has had his ups and downs in the media, but he's also had a few scandals here and there, from beefs to fights and everything in between, but there's one scandal that you might not have heard of and involves a lawsuit. Rappers and singers don't always write their own music, though many may assume it's all from the heart. Sometimes it is from other people's brains, but most times other people's brains receive their credit for what they've written. In the case of Jeffrey Philston, that credit never came, but it wasn't exactly deserved either. The Florida man issued a $90 million lawsuit against JayZ because he claimed that he had been his ghostwriter for years, but he never received any credit or monetary compensation. Jeffrey had written to the rapper while in jail and allegedly sent him some lyrics. Jeffrey then said that the lyrics he wrote for the rapper ended up in the song Watch the Crown, and JayZ allegedly sent Jeff a letter saying, quote, "You gave me the most help in this industry, but I refuse to pay you. I know that you are thinking I am a millionaire, but that's just how it is. I've conned you," end quote. The man obviously didn't receive his $90 million lawsuit, but he did hold a grudge against the rapper. At number 5, Benicio del Toro. This scandal seemed to have been a shock to a lot of people because of how unexpected and random it was. News broke last year about actor Benicio del Toro and his connection to Rod Stewart's daughter Kimberly. The two apparently had a one-night stand that then resulted in Kim getting pregnant with Benicio's child. This came as a shock to a surprising number of people because they became a couple that no one was expecting. I can't say I know much about either of them, but people seem to be taken aback by this baby scandal because it was just so random. So I had to include it on this list. Let me know down in the comments if you knew about this and if it surprised you. At number 4, Miley Cyrus. Coming in hot with another scandal, we have Miley Cyrus's $4 billion lawsuit. Yes, that is right, I said billion. In 2009, a woman in Los Angeles issued a lawsuit against Miley because of a racist photo that had been circulating around the internet. The photo showed Miley and a group of other people posing for the photo, pulling back their eyelids, and the woman suing Miley, Lucy Kim, issued a class action lawsuit against the singer, demanding that she pay $4,000 to every Asian Pacific Islander in Los Angeles County to compensate them for the harm they suffered by seeing the photo, because she claimed that the picture, quote, violated the civil rights of Asian Pacific Islanders. Miley claimed that the photo in question was taken out of context and issued an apology. Ultimately, the judge threw out the case, but Miley's legal team did request that Lucy not have to pay her legal fees because the court argued that her lawsuit wasn't exactly without merit. At number 3, Elizabeth Taylor. Imagine having a cheating scandal that is so messy and turbulent that the Pope has to step in. Sounds wild, but this actually happened with Elizabeth Taylor back in the day. Elizabeth Taylor married 7 times in her life, but during this time she had also entered into a few affairs as well. After starring in the film Cleopatra in Rome, Elizabeth found herself in love with Richard Burton. Both of them were already married, but this didn't stop them from pursuing each other and eventually divorcing their respective partners. This relationship was scandalous because they just couldn't get enough of each other. Paparazzi were all over this story and eventually it reached the Vatican. Since the movie that Elizabeth and Richard were working on was set in Rome, which surrounds Vatican City, the Vatican was not happy about this affair or their steamy connection, and they tore the actress apart in one of their newspapers. Even the Pope couldn't stop their love for each other, and Elizabeth and Richard got married, but it was still quite the scandal, and to hear that the Vatican was involved just makes it that much juicier. At number 2, Charlie Chaplin. I think everybody is familiar with Charlie Chaplin, right? The famous silent movie star from the early days of Hollywood. Well, he faced a lot of scandals back in his day, but one that is the most surprising surrounds how he got banned from the US. After the events of World War II, the fear of communism in America started to heighten. Specifically, in the early 50s, people were told to stay vigilant about any signs of communism from basically everyone and everything. Charlie Chaplin ended up on the list of people to fear after it was suggested that he was a communist. Though he had lived and worked in the US for about 40 years, he became a target of the Un-American Activities Committee and was put on an FBI blacklist in 1948, preventing him from working in Hollywood. A few years later, in 1952, when he sailed to Britain on holiday, he got word that if he were to return to the US, he would be arrested. After that, he stayed away for good. The only time he ever went back to the US was in 1972 to pick up an honorary Oscar award. And finally, at number 1, John Lennon. The Beatles were a huge hit at the height of their fame, but members of the band also faced scandal, as every celebrity does. John Lennon had his share of controversies, but one that is pretty surprising and that not many people know about is about how he once said that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. In 1966, John Lennon did an interview where he was asked all sorts of questions like how he lives, his interests, and so on, but his comments on Christianity was where things got heated. In the profile, he said, quote, "Christianity will go, it will vanish and shrink. I needn't argue about that. I'm right and will be proved right. We are more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Jesus was alright, but his disciples were thick and ordinary. It's them twisting it that ruins it for me." Now, when this profile was first released in UK, no one thought anything of his comments on Christianity, but when the article was republished worldwide a few months later, things got messy when it hit the US. A radio station in Alabama got hold of John's comments and proposed a ban on the Beatles, refusing to play their music and smashing their records. This anti-Beatles mindset began to spread further, angering more people until eventually Lennon apologized and things died down, making for a chaotic few months. Now, I want you guys to let me know down in the comments which of these scandals was your favorite or more interesting. I think mine would be the story about Charlie Chaplin because that was such a wild one. But what was yours? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, that's been our list. I've been your host, Bree Room, and until next time, stay safe, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time. Stay good, friends.